may have a little bit of a delay in getting the game started, although it looks like the clock is running where it should be right now. There was the possibility anyway that the officials might get here a little bit late, and even they had to change up their assignments today. There were some Grand Forks officials that were supposed to...
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. We've already given out more than $75,000 to students in North Dakota this year. Let us help you become the next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
You live life on the move. While you determine what direction that may be, we're here to help along the way. So go. Go with values. Go with friends. Go with support. Go with convenience.
Is 6-9 for the Viking women. It was a really tough day yesterday up against the 13th ranked team in the country. You'll hear later in our pregame report that Dakota State is very likely to crack the top 10 when the new poll comes out coming up on Wednesday due to a win that they had over a top 10 team. And so that's a very good team that the Vikings are up against. And Dakota State scored 104 points last night in a 104-67 win. And the Vikings are going to be a little shorthanded today. Adriana Torres, former all-conference player, is missing due to a family funeral today. Taylor Henningsgaard, the assistant coach for Valley City State, was unable to get here today due to the travel conditions. And so Vanessa's had to move around some of her staff to make sure that she has someone that can fill the assistant coach role. And now she's going to need somebody to replace Adriana Torres' production. Adriana's scored 19 points last night, and Ashlyn Deemer with 20 in that matchup against Dakota State. Those were 2 very good individual performances against a Dakota State team that's pretty darn good. Coming into this today, Bellevue, not overly big, but they've got size at 6'3" in the middle, but they don't get a lot of playing time out of their size today. And the player to watch is Gabby Moore, who's a point guard that can also score. She's good for 12.7 points per game, but Bellevue, very much like Valley City State, looking for somebody else to step in and make an impact offensively to try to stabilize their season. So it's 8-9 for Bellevue. It's 6-9 for Valley City State. The Bruins are 1-1 in conference play, and the Vikings are currently 0-1 after last night's conference matchup. And we're going to have it for you here today on KOVC, no matter how many fans we get here. Now, normally we say sit back and enjoy this one with us. Tonight, we're going to tell you, or at least this afternoon, if you can make it around, come on down because we'd love to have you. We need a little bit of an atmosphere here in the arena, but nonetheless, we've got you covered with basketball here today. It's the Vikings and Bellevue, Nebraska, the Bruins today as we continue conference play. Our pregame report is brought to you by Sanford Health Valley City, here for all and here for good. We'll run down what happened last night in the league and give you a look at where the conference standings are along with the schedule for today. And we'll also have our comments today with Vanessa Johnson, the head coach of the Viking women's basketball team, in our pregame report, which is coming up in just a bit. This is Viking women's basketball on your voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Rambo, a proud sponsor and fan of Viking Athletics, has been serving North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota with quality logoed apparel and promotional products since 1979. With online store options built to meet the needs of your company, organization, or team, Rambo will ensure that the process of ordering is easy and accurate and that your items are received on time. When you're ready to put your logo to work, give Matt a call at 701-680-9585. Rambo, we're in the business of making you look good.
CHI Mercy Health in Valley City strives to bring you quality health care close to home. They're bringing in mammography services, extended their occupational therapy program, and updated physical therapy and emergency room spaces. They're currently seeking to fill a number of positions. To find out more, head to chimercyhealth.org under the Careers tab. CHI Mercy Health Valley City, voted top 100 critical access hospital and one of the first in the nation designated as an acute cardiac ready hospital, providing quality health care close to home.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Lockout Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue at 701-845-6938 or James M. Lockow at CPA 701-845-1660. Services offered through Investment Advisors, a division of Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, and securities offered through Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA and SIPC.
Every body is different. Some experience injuries, while others need extra support.
I'll help you, Grandma.
At Jamestown Regional Medical Center, your health is what matters most. Our orthopedics and sports medicine team care for you and your unique needs. Their goal is to help you live your best life. Choose Jamestown Regional Medical Center for care of hips, shoulders, knees, and broken bones. Learn more at jrmcnd.com/orthopedics.
Why choose professional eye care centers? Let me count the whys. First, there are now 4 great doctors to see. Dr. Frank, Dr. Freilich, Dr. Jangala, and now welcoming Dr. Bond. Next is their many locations. You can now see one of their spectacular doctors in Jamestown, Valley City, Carrington, Edgeley, Ellendale, and Lemoore. And finally, their fantastic frame selection. And yes, all of their frames and lenses are backed up by warranty. Visit ProEyeCareCenters.com and make an appointment today. Professional Eye Care Centers, clearly the best.
Coverage of Viking basketball today here on the Voice of the Vikings and the Voice of the Valley, KOVC. Ryan Cunningham with you today from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. Not a lot of fans here. A few more are beginning to trickle in all the time, fighting off the weather to make sure that they can come in and do something on the afternoon. Hey, there's popcorn. They've got some food items, so you might want to roll by because this is probably all that's going on right now. We have a number of announcements that are coming in as well. People are preparing for various church services that are going to be postponed for the evening. I don't know that this is supposed to roll that far into tomorrow, but nonetheless, we'll keep you up to date with some of those announcements that are coming in as well. As we bring you Viking women's basketball right on time today, the Vikings in Bellevue set to play in conference play today. Our pregame report brought to you by Sanford Health Valley City. Here for all and here for good. Now, a couple of things that we can tell you right now. First and foremost, we have received word that there are some power outages once again in the area. This time, Ottertail Power Company appears to be the company that is affected. Some of you may be in the Ottertail Power Company subsystem, so if you are, we'll do what we can to try to get you the latest that we have going on there. Most of the church services that we've seen updates on that are going to be done for tomorrow have more to do with the Jamestown and Carrington area, although Trinity Lutheran Church in Valley City is canceling their breakfast tomorrow. That's one that's been sent to us at this point. I don't know about services as of yet at Trinity, but I know that breakfast is called off at Trinity Lutheran coming up tomorrow. Most of the other announcements that are out there are going to include Jamestown, Carrington, that type of thing. But again, as they come in, we're going to kind of do a couple of different things here at the Fieldhouse today. We're obviously going to broadcast basketball because that's what we're here to do, but as the weather unfolds, as the situation unfolds, as the announcements come in, we'll kind of flip back and forth throughout the course of the broadcast and fill you in on what's going on there as well. Now, let's take a look at Drive for the Title for women's basketball here in the North Star Athletic Association. As we roll into the day, there are a couple of teams that are still unbeaten inside conference play after the very early salvos. Dakota State, with their win over Valley City State last night, moves to 2-0 in conference play. Mayville State 1-0 in conference play after a win to get their conference season started last night. Bellevue's 1-1 as they come in here today. Viterbo, Valley City State 0-1. Dickinson State 0-1. Waldorf currently does not have a record in the conference as we get ready for them to play their first conference game somewhere down the road. Now, we had results from yesterday. There were 3 games in the league yesterday. This is actually men's play. I apologize. I may have the wrong tab in front of me. I had clicked on the women's tab, and apparently I got the men's tab inside the North Star Athletic Association. Or did I? No, I got the records correct. When I went to the schedule, they sent me to the men's schedule for whatever reason instead of the women's schedule today. Now, that's an oddity that we're working through. Now we've got the women's schedule in front of us. Last night, Mayville State defeats Viterbo 58-51. That was up in Mayville. Dickinson State beaten by Bellevue, Nebraska last night, 66-57. So the men were beaten in Dickinson. The women of Bellevue, the Bruins, did win out in Dickinson last night. And Dakota State with their 104-67 win over Valley City State. By the way, Bellevue's game with Dickinson last night went into overtime in that matchup. So Bellevue is going to be strung out a little bit as far as depth after having to play the extra session and then get on the road today, and we'll see if the Vikings can take advantage of that. Now the schedule for today, Bellevue's here. Waldorf is at Mayville today, and Dakota State is at Dickinson State today as far as conditions are concerned. So Waldorf will be playing their first conference games today after Viterbo came up and took on Mayville. Now Waldorf will come up and take on Mayville, and that's obviously the staggered schedule that we have going on in the North Star Athletic Association with the number of teams that we have. Viterbo and Waldorf each make a trip to Mayville to play just one game on the weekend. Viterbo did it last night. Waldorf will do it tonight in both women's and men's play. So again, those are the results from last night as far as our conference matchup. Viterbo beaten by Mayville 58-51. Bellevue, Nebraska in overtime over Dickinson State 66-57. Dakota State over the Vikings 104-67 last night in the game you heard here on KOVC. And so again, our standings for today, Dakota State's 2-0. Mayville State is 1-0. Bellevue, Nebraska is 1-1. Waldorf, Iowa, no record in the league yet. They play for the first time this afternoon. Viterbo, Valley City State, and Dickinson State all with losses to start the conference season. Up next, our comments from head coach Vanessa Johnson, the Viking women's basketball skipper, will give us a rundown on how things sit for today and a little bit of shorthandedness out there, along with an arena that's slowly but surely trickling in a handful of fans here today at the Fieldhouse. The Vikings and Bellevue, Nebraska, as we continue with our pregame report brought to you by Sanford Health Valley City. Here for all, here for good. This is Viking basketball, the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC. Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on three major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com.
Lever's Foods, best quality, best price. Lever's Foods, best service, they're nice. Lever's Foods, they make everything right. Lever's Foods.
All this week at Lever's Foods in Valley City, save big on Campbell's chicken noodle or tomato soup, 4 for $4.68. General Mills cereal, 2 for $6.88. Idaho russet, North Dakota red, or yellow potatoes, just $1.99 for a 5-pound bag. And boneless pork sirloin chops, only $2.49 a pound. Delivery is available by calling 845-1732. Lever's Foods, Valley City.
Did a quick count, and I think we are now at 37 fans here that are here today. 37 here at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. That's a huge uptick from the 5 that we had. We got the pregame show started. They're showing up in droves now. I think 38 is out in the mezzanine. We're all fighting off a blizzard warning that's out there until 6 o'clock tonight. Those of you that are here, you guys are hardcore, and we love you. For those of you that are taking this one in on the air tonight, you're probably making the smart choice. Viking women's basketball, men's basketball to follow from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse today. Valley City State. The Viking women kick things off with a 6-9 record. They're going to take on an 8-9 Bellevue, Nebraska Bruins team as our pregame report continues, brought to you by Sanford Health Valley City, here for all and here for good. Comments from Vanessa Johnson, the head coach of the Viking women's basketball team, and had an opportunity to sit down with Vanessa and talk about a few things. And we started off our conversation with the idea that this is going to be a tough atmosphere, a tough arena to get energy out of today due to, obviously, the weather situation. And normally you wouldn't think too much about that, but Coach Johnson says it even came up in their shoot-around they had today. Okay, let's hold on for just a moment. We apparently are having a few more technical difficulties that we're having here today, and I'm not exactly sure what seems to be the problem. We've had a couple of things that have popped up on us here throughout the course of the day that are just a little bit abnormal, and apologies for that. Let's see if we can't get back into our comments from Vanessa Johnson, the head coach of the Viking women's basketball team.
Sure, it brings me back to the COVID years when we had those like fake people in the stands and everything, and you could hear a pin drop because it's just the two teams. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a conversation that we had at shoot around, in the sense that we have to generate our own energy. We can't rely on anybody to do it for us ever. But this is like a neutral site game right now, I feel like, because it won't be people won't be bearing the weather to come and see us. Our assistant Taylor didn't even make it here today, so we understand all that, but we have to generate it ourselves, and we got to take it upon ourselves to do that.
The good news about a loss on Friday is that you don't have a whole long time to stew on it. They can hang on you if it's on a Saturday. That was a tough one yesterday against Dakota State, but if you had to choose Friday or Saturday, I'm certain you'd choose Friday. You get a chance to make up for it today.
Oh, absolutely. We talk about that. Playing in this conference, that's the benefit of playing a back-to-back, is that no matter what happens Friday night, win or loss, you have to turn around and do it again Saturday. If you lost, you got to make those changes, and you can't, like you said, dwell on it. And so that was a conversation that we've had, and it's always next play, next game mentality, and how are we going to get better? How are we going to get 1% better? And so we're trying to do that right now.
Dakota State really came after you with some trapping pressure yesterday, and it's really good. The way they do it is really, really good. So it's not like you're susceptible to it. 14 teams have been susceptible to it this year.
Yeah, and they're number 13 in the nation. I was just talking to Denley, who's our Raider. They will probably crack the top 10, beating Briarcliff at number 8. So, I mean, it is no surprise that they are that good. It was just more so the lack of, I thought, discipline and effort. When I talked to you about toughness, we didn't have that again last night. And so how are we going to find that even against the really good teams that you're not quote unquote supposed to beat? How are we going to be a Cinderella team then? There are teams that bring down number 1 teams in the nation, and that's where I want to be. I want to be one of those teams that it's like, okay, we're not supposed to win this one, but we're going to because we're gritty. And so, yes, they were good, but I was disappointed with kind of some of those intangibles.
There were a couple of players that had toughness. Ashlyn Deemert had a tremendous offensive game, and you could not tell that Adriana Torres had had a knee surgery when you were watching her yesterday. And those are 2 leaders that you just absolutely need right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, and we can get some more people to kind of join them, and they're doing their best to kind of get people to get on their ship, get on their boat, and go with us. But we don't have Torres today. Unfortunately, she's at a funeral, and so we're playing kind of shorthanded in that aspect. But we got to have someone else step up and see if someone else can really take on that load and then carry it on. It can't be just a one-game thing that we've seen from some people.
Vanessa Johnson, the head coach of the Viking women, joining us for our pregame report here today. They're about to have our national anthem. We'll come back with our starting lineups and more on the Sanford Health pregame report next here on KOVC.
Hi, this is Clint from Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy in beautiful downtown Valley City, your only locally owned pharmacy since 1989. When you're locally owned, you care about your community and your customers. We offer a great selection of gifts and toys, as well as yarns, fabrics, sewing, and crafting. We are here for you from 9 to 5:30 weekdays and Saturdays 9 to 1. For all your pharmaceutical needs, give us a call, 845-5280.
Health Mart, taking time to listen and care. Sanford Health of Valley City is dedicated to transforming your healthcare experience and providing access to world-class healthcare right here in America's heartland. We're committed to improving the human condition at every stage of life through exceptional care, spiritual enhancement, innovation, and discovery. Schedule your appointment today at Sanford Health of Valley City by calling 701-845-6000 or self-schedule online at mysanfordchart.org. Sanford Health, here for all, here for good.
Valley City State University, it's an exciting time as we experience enrollment growth. Support of the VCSU V500 Scholarship Program is making a difference, now more than ever. This is Al LaFave, president of VCSU. This rich tradition of V500 is as much a part of our future as it is our past. Involvement in this program helps students succeed at VCSU. Please consider joining us with a membership today and keep VCSU moving forward. Visit give.vcsu.edu today to make a difference.
When you're craving the taste of juicy, flavorful, locally sourced beef and pork, look no further than your locally owned Valley Meat Supply. At Valley Meat Supply, we take pride in bringing you the finest cuts of beef and pork straight from local producers. So whether you're planning a mouth-watering barbecue or a cozy family meal, choose Valley Meat Supply for the highest quality, locally grown beef, pork, and award-winning jerky, sticks, and sausage. Valley Meat Supply, West Main, Valley City. Your taste buds will thank you.
Welcome back to our coverage of Viking basketball, the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC, from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse here this afternoon on campus of Valley City State University. This afternoon, the Vikings will go up against the Bellevue Bruins in Game 2 of the conference season for the Vikings and Game 3 of the conference season for Bellevue. Let's take a look at our starting lineups for today's matchup. Our starting lineups are brought to you today by CHI, Mercy Health, Valley City. Hello, Human Kindness. This afternoon For Bellevue, the guards will be Brandy Dunn, a 5'9 junior from Spring, Texas, and Gabby Moore, 5'7 junior from Webster Groves, Missouri. Also at guard will be Amina Hall. Let's try that one more time. Amina Hall, a 5'10 junior from Denton, Texas. The forwards are Kaylee Denker, 6'1 freshman from Lincoln, Nebraska, and Shelby Little, a 6-foot junior from Holiday Island, Arkansas. Dave Denley and his head coach in season number 8 at Bellevue is the head coach. James Benford is the assistant. For the Viking women this afternoon, the guards will be Haley Roberts, a 5'6 junior from Minot, North Dakota. Elise Hebrink, a 5'5 junior from Austin, Minnesota. And Ellie Broughton, a 5'3 freshman from West Hope, North Dakota. Forward-ish will be Ashlyn Deemert, a 5'9 junior from West Fargo, North Dakota. And Ellie Powell, a 5'11 freshman from Bowman, North Dakota. Vanessa Johnson is the head coach of the Vikings. I believe, based on what we've seen, that Grant Integer is going to step in as the assistant coach today. Taylor Henningsgaard, unable to make her way to the field house here today due to the travel conditions that we have out there, and we know it. I mean, we heard all about it. The officials had a hard time getting here. There was a couple of car accidents that are on the interstate out there, and so Taylor probably taking this one in, as many of you are, which is via the Viking video stream or KOVC radio today. And Taylor, just stay home, stay warm. We'll try to get this one in the win column for you, and we'll see you again on Wednesday when when Mayville State comes to town. Yeah, we have Mayville at home on Wednesday, and then Dickinson on the road coming up on Friday. Bellevue's Kaylee Dinker will take the jump versus Ellie Powell for Valley City State. The Vikings in black, Bellevue's in white with purple, and Bellevue has the opening tip today as Gabby Moore will walk the ball to the front court for the Bruins. She'll turn it off to the right wing and found Amina Hall. Hall taking a look, a flex back top of the keeper, Brandy Dunn, and back to Moore in the left wing, defended by Broughton. Moore to her left hand, pulls up from 15, it rolls in. That'll be the opening points today. Gabby Moore, their 12.7 points per game performer, comes down with the opening basket of the day, and the Vikings are down 2-0 as we get started here in the opening quarter. Deemert into the front court for Valley City State. To stop Ellie Broughton out by the circle, she'll be D'd up as they extend that player-to-player defense coming out to get to her. Brandy Dunn coming out to meet her in that regard. A toss to Elise Hebrink, had a nice day rebounding the basketball for the Vikings yesterday. She went cross-court. Gabby Moore knocked one away from Haley Roberts that ends up out of bounds. The Vikings will play it in from the near sideline. Ashlyn Deemert waiting, and Ellie Broughton comes out to take it. There's less than 10 on the shot clock. Broughton will make a call against a 2-3 zone. Roberts back to the top of the key now. Broughton a look inside. Shot clock's at 1, and a blocked shot at the expiration of the shot clock. You can call it out of bounds, but in the end, it's going to be a shot clock violation against the Vikings. Valley City State doesn't get a shot away. Bellevue with a 2-0 lead will get the basketball back. Hall will trickle it in more. And the Bruins are back up front. Brandy Dunn driving, whistle, offensive foul. We've got an illegal screen. That's going to be called against Moore, trying to open things up out on the top of the key for the dribble penetration of Brandy Dunn. Tough foul to give early if you're Bellevue, your leading scorer, picking up a very early call on an illegal screen less than a minute into the game. The Vikings still with a 2-0 deficit, and they're into the front court for the first time. Ball left side for Elise Hebrink for the Vikings. Hebrink will flex it back to Deemert. 20 points last night for Deemert in the matchup against Dakota State. Up and under on the double pivot, and a great finger roll for Ashlyn Deemert for her first 2 points today. Deemert gets going right where she left off last night against the Trojans, a 20-point performer. The Vikings and Bruins are tied at 2. Ball on the top of the key, taken up by Denker for the Bruins. A drive by Gabby Moore, and she's got a body on her from behind as Ellie Broughton was beaten on the play, and Broughton will pick up the first foul of her day. That'll be the first team foul against Valley City State. And Gabby Moore will step beyond the inbounds, or actually I should say the baseline, and inbound in Bellevue's front court. Moore taking a look, loads up a couple times, tosses it out to the top of the key. That was up for grabs. Shelby Little was able to go up and get it back to Moore in a 3-ball from the right side that won't fall. An offensive rebound. Amina Hall trying to back her way in. Now turns and falls away, misses, but another offensive board. This time it's Little. This gets tied up with Ellie Powell. Turns into a jump ball, and the ball's going back into the hands of the Vikings. That's a sequence where Ellie Powell's going to want to pick up, obviously, the physicality, the toughness part of the game that you've heard Vanessa Johnson talk about last couple of nights on the pregame report. Powell had good position but wasn't really bodying up inside and got beat on a couple of opportunities to pick up the rebounds. And it's going to be a big job for her to rebound the basketball as she grows in her career at Valley City State. Drive to the basket and a scoop layup from Ashlyn Deemer that comes up empty. And the rebound saved along the baseline. Brandy Dunn came up with it, and the Bruins are back up front. We're tied at 2 on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. A drive left side, hard take to the basket, comes up empty from Brandy Dunn. Another offensive rebound back to Dunn left corner, and a 3 is good. And we're going to see changes immediately here as Vanessa Johnson, after that latest offensive rebound, went down her bench and began to send personnel up and one to the scorer's table. Vikings down by 3 at 5-2 as they work back into the front court. Deemer, top of the key for Elise Hebrink in the left corner. Back to Deemer. She's left alone for 3. There's the answer. Ashlyn Deemer at all 5 first quarter points for the Vikings thus far. That will tie the game at 5 apiece. Bruins back into the front court. Moore driving right. Hands off to the top of the key. Kaylee Dinker took a little contact from Deemert as well. And Ashland's bodying up with Dinker pretty hard right now. Drive in by Moore. Hard take to the basket. Scores up and over Ellie Powell after Ellie Broughton was beaten out on the perimeter. Gabby Moore with 4. Bruins back up 2 at 7-5. Roberts the cut to Broughton to the basket. Missed the layup. That was a good sprint to the basket by Broughton, but Broughton couldn't finish the shot. The rebound inside to Amina Hall for Bellevue. Bruins back into the front court. Dinker's left alone for 3 left wing. That no good, and this time Ellie Powell solid block out inside. Moving Shelby Little out of the way, and Deemert up the floor in transition will score. Boy, it all starts with a good rebounding effort on the back end of that. Ellie Powell got her body in to Shelby Little and just moved her out of the way after establishing position. That allows the Vikings to run the floor and score, and we're tied at 7, 3.5 minutes into the matchup. Moore in the top of the key for the Bruins off to the right side. Hard take to the basket coming up and good for Brandy Dunn. Dunn scores her latest basket, and that'll push the lead to the Bruins once again. A score of 9-7. Brandy Dunn, pretty good dribble penetration skills that we've seen from her to start the basketball game. Deemer, top of the key, getting a screen from Broughton, driving right side, spin move, got down to the basket, tried the spin, and the jump shot, it was partially blocked. Moore comes up with the basketball after it's rescued by Amina Hall, and Gabby Moore is up front for the Bruins, who lead by 2 at 9-7. Moore off to the right side, finding Dinker on the top of the key. Dinker moving right, hands back to Dunn. Dunn, a left-handed dribble against Broughton, got loose again, goes inside, Little on a flex back to the right block, will score. Shelby Little with her first 2 points today as the Bruins break down the Viking defense and come up with a bucket in the paint. And the lead is back to 4 for the Bruins, or actually up to 4 for the first time at 11-7. Inside Roberts, backdoor Broughton, got underneath, and it won't go in. Broughton's had a couple that have nibbled and would not go down. Good positioning for Broughton going down to the post, but hasn't been able to finish. Little kicks out. Dunn's open for 3. That nibbles off the front of the rim. Elise Hebrink, and a timeout taken by the Vikings as they were waiting to make substitutions. The Vikings will call for a timeout with 5:07 left to go in the opening half of play, down by 4 at 11-7. It'll be a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here. Our timeouts are brought to you here today by Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. Right now, watching as the conversation goes on between the Vikings and Vanessa Johnson, and Vanessa's getting into her team a little bit and pointing at Bellevue's basket. And it could be about the dribble penetration, but the way that Vanessa reacted after that latest offensive rebound, it's very likely about getting the job done underneath the basket, and the Vikings will make some changes coming out of the break. Valley City State will send Madison Wilhelmy, a 5'5 sophomore from Beach, North Dakota. Katie Johnson, 5'6 junior from Pura, Minnesota, and Rosie Anderson, 6-foot sophomore from Moorhead, Minnesota, into the game. Johnson with the basketball. It got deflected loose. Elise Hebrink runs back to rescue it, and the Vikings go to work down 4 at 11-7. Hebrink's on the top of the key. Wilhelmy a head fake, a behind-the-back bounce pass to Deemer, who pulls up from the elbow. That won't roll in either. That's 3 underneath for the Vikings, or I should say 2 underneath and 1 from the elbow, but all 3 that have rolled around the cylinder and won't find the look to go in for Valley City State. Lead remains 4 for the Bruins, and Bellevue back into the front court. Shelby Little on the top of the key, looking right side. A wide open Delaney Van Blaricon comes up empty on a 3. We see a whistle coming up and a foul against, I believe, Bellevue, chasing after the rebound. It was. Foul will go against Kaylee Dinker, her first and the second team foul against Bellevue. We did see the entry of Delaney Van Blaricon, a 5'10 senior out of Holden, Missouri, out for her first minutes as a Bruin. She's out on top of that Bruin 2-3 zone. Madison Wilhelmy with the ball for the Vikings. A stop back door. Deemer pass too strong from Katie Johnson. It's out of bounds. That'll go back to the Bruins. Johnson of the game is the top 3-point shooter for the Vikings, over 41% of the season. had a three-point shot go in yesterday against Dakota State, and the Vikings could use that offensive look right now as they're struggling to find a way. 7 points in 6 minutes of the opening half, or I should say rather opening quarter. Little on the top of the key to Denker for Bellevue. Back to Shelby Little on the right side. Bounce pass in, and we're going to have some contact from Elise Hebrink up against Zakiya Muhammad, who's also checked in for Bellevue. Zakiya Muhammad, a 5'11 freshman from Omaha, Nebraska, and Hebrink will pick up her first personal. Apologies for missing the subs for Bellevue, but there were 3 of them for Valley City State at the same time. Half the players on the floor changed out. We had to figure out who was going in for the Vikings at that point. Denker off to the top of the key for Muhammad. Muhammad looking back right side. Gabby Moore got a seal. She's wide open for 3 and drills it. Gabby Moore popping out to the right wing. A good seal to leave her open. And Gabby Moore has 7 of Bellevue's 14 points, and it's a 7-point lead for the Bruins. And now a toss in by Katie Johnson that's knocked away, taken back by Bellevue, and they're back in the front court. Van Blaricon to Dinker, out to Gabby Moore. Moore between the legs dribble, moves back to Shelby Little on the right side. Back to Van Blaricon on the top of the key. They look down low. Muhammad opening things up to Little. Back to the right corner for Dinker. The shot clock's at 10 seconds for Bellevue. Moore on the right wing. Shot clock at 7 seconds. A spin by Moore. The shot clock's at 4. Moore steps back for 3 and hits it. Gabby Moore dribbling her way away from pressure. 10 points for Gabby Moore on 4 field goals in the opening. And Bellevue has a 10-point lead over the Vikings at 17-7. Katie Johnson right side into the corner. This is J.C. Richter making her way down the baseline. They go inside. Rosie Anderson will score. Good dribble drive from J.C. Richter, who's checked into the game as well. 5'6" sophomore out of Linton, North Dakota. Had a nice night last night against Dakota State, and Richter gets it going with an assist on Rosie Anderson's bucket inside. The Vikings back to within 8. Ball on the top of the key. 3 by Dinkers, in and out. Rebound loose on the floor. Katie Johnson runs it down, runs against numbers. Kicks out. Deemer, transition 3. Money. Net barely moved on Ashlyn Deemer's transition 3-point shot. She has 10 of the Vikings' 12, and the 10-point lead has been cut in half. It's 17-12. Bellevue has their lead cut to 5. Moore into the front court for the Bruins, working right side. Takes the dribble down to the wing and turns it back to Shelby Little on the top of the key. Little to stop. Took it back towards Dinker, now is in some trouble. Rosie Anderson came out to cut her off. Ball goes to Gabby Moore. Shot clock again at 10 seconds. Moore look in the corner. They wanted Van Blaricon in the backdoor cut. Shot clock at 2 at 1. They didn't get this off in time. That'll be a shot clock violation, and the Vikings will get it back. And each team set to make some changes again. Just one for the Vikings. Haley Roberts will come back into the matchup, replacing Katie Johnson at a perimeter position. Brandy Dunn re-enters for Bellevue, and we'll also see the entry of Jillian Friedman, a 6'3 junior out of Rescue, California, for her first minutes tonight for the Bruins. 17-12. The Vikings have cut a 10-point lead to 5. Bellevue still on top on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. Anderson kicking out towards the wing for Madison Wilhelmy. A stop. Wilhelmy threw it into space. No one home. May have been a broken play for the Vikings. Gabby Moore takes it away for Bellevue and brings the Bruins back up front. Off to the top of the key. Ball goes through Brandy Dunn's hands. Back to Moore. Van Blaricon coming out to take it. Back to Dunn. Post entry draws a foul. Rosie Anderson reaching from behind to deny Jillian Friedman the basketball. And Rosie Anderson has her first for the Vikings. It'll be team foul number 3. The Vikings one more to give before we get to the end of the opening quarter. And the Bruins will re-enter Amina Hall into one of their post positions. Hall will take the inbounds pass, then sets the seal, and a 3 on the way from the corner by Gabby Moore that comes up empty. Van Blaricon, after an offensive rebound, sticks a 3. Delaney Van Blaricon comes up with a 3 from the left side. Lead back to 8 on another O board for Bellevue. It's 20-12. The Bruins on top. Richter bodied up and fouled by Brandy Dunn. First on Dunn, that'll be the third against Bellevue. And Ellie Powell will come back into the matchup, replacing Rosie Anderson. Vanessa Johnson's going to continue to just basically make every substitution you can in the post until the Vikings can find a way to seal off this rebounding advantage that Bellevue's found here in the opening quarter. Inbounds pass to the right side for J.C. Richter in the block. She turns it back top of the key. Deemer driving, fall away on the baseline that comes up empty off the front of the rim. And the rebound comes down with Jillian Friedman for Bellevue. Bruins back into the front court. Gabby Moore to Brandy Dunn, and a 3 from the left wing, stuck. Brandy Dunn with her second three of the day. That will give her 8. The Bruins have hit 5 times from beyond, and their lead that was 10 and then cut to 5 has now grown to 11. Diemert for the answer again, that time off the front of the rim. Rebound comes down with Friedman for Bellevue, and the Bruins on the fast break. It's Dunn on the left wing. Back to Moore, who steps up front and gets a play from the bench. There is a bit of a differential. The differential between shot clock and game clock is about 0.8 of a second. The Bruins are playing for effectively 1. Moore out in the circle. Haley Roberts comes out to put pressure on. No count on, though, against Moore. Moore moving right side, cross, left hand, got a screen from Friedman. Drives, goes to the baseline, misses on a pull-up. Rebounds on the baseline, and that'll end the opening quarter of basketball. A tough rebounding quarter for Valley City State. They're beaten on the old glass, and the lead reflects it along with 5 threes for the Bruins. It's 23-12 on your LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard, with the Vikings down by 11 to the Bruins. We have a timeout for Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. This is Viking basketball, the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
CHI Mercy Health in Valley City strives to bring you quality health care close to home. They're bringing in mammography services, extended their occupational therapy program, and updated physical therapy and emergency room spaces. They're currently seeking to fill a number of positions. To find out more, head to chimercyhealth.org under the Careers tab. CHI Mercy Health Valley City, voted top 100 critical access hospital and one of the first in the nation designated as an acute cardiac-ready hospital, providing quality health care close to home.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Lockout Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue at 701-845-6938 or James M. Lockout at CPA 701-845-1660. Services offered through Investment Advisors, a division of Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, and securities offered through Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA and SIPC.
Vikings trying to fix a rebounding advantage for Bellevue as we move into the second quarter of play. Vikings down 11 by a score of 23-12 on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. Bellevue hitting threes at will. Brandy Dunn with a three-point shot for the Bruins to get things started and comes up strong. A rebound to J.C. Richter entered the game in the opening quarter. Continues her play, pulls up on the baseline and draws a foul as Shelby Little tried to close her out. And that's going to put Richter on the foul line for Valley City State. Be the first foul of the second quarter against the Bruins, and it will be the first against Shelby Little this afternoon. 10 of the 12 points that were scored by the Vikings in the opening quarter for Ashlyn Diemert, leading scorer far and away. First foul shot for Richter is no good. The numbers that came out at the end of the opening quarter, though, tell the tale. Bellevue out-rebounds the Vikings 12-5 in the opening quarter, 4-0 on the offensive glass, so the Vikings didn't get an offensive rebound. Bellevue got 4 of them, 3 of them led directly to points. Second chance points for Bellevue in that sequence were at 6. And so in the long run, the Vikings found themselves in a bit of a struggle in that situation. J.C. Richter missed both ends of the foul shots, but comes up with a takeaway as she strips Brandy Dunn of the basketball, and the Vikings are back up front, still down 11. Diemert inside, head fake, Powell got her defender up, and another bucket that won't go down. 2 of those inside for Broughton, 1 now for Powell, 1 for Diemert. Just cannot get the roll for the Vikings here this afternoon. A travel coming up in the near side against Amina Hall, and the Vikings will get it back. Katie Johnson comes back into the matchup. She'll replace J.C. Richter. Richter had a nice run through the gear, if you will, in her stretch in that situation. Forced a couple of takeaways, came up with a big rebound, didn't score. Madison Wilhelmy comes back into the matchup along with Katie Johnson. Vikings still down 11. Diemert dribbling into the front court, and the Vikings playing without Adriana Torres today due to being gone for a family funeral, and so they're missing that offensive look, and Adriana Torres provides that. Bellevue coming up the floor in transition. Shelby Little got free. Little to the basket with her 4th long lead pass up the floor from guess who? The point guard, Cabby Moore, and it's now 25-12. The lead is 13 for Bellevue. The Vikings need an offensive answer fast, or this one gets a little out of hand. Top of the key, Powell swinging right side. Wilhelmy pulling up for 3. That's in and out. Again, wanted to go down and just wouldn't find the roll. I don't know if we like this basket, to tell you the truth. Amina Hall came down with a rebound and a foul coming up against Haley Roberts, trying to pressure her after the board. Bellevue will keep the basketball. Ashlyn Diemert will get an opportunity to get a rest, and we'll see Madison Spacher coming into the matchup. 5'11", sophomore from Watford City, North Dakota. Vikings down 13, need to stop badly. Moore on the right side, found Dunn, who curls her way into the lane. Dunn kicks it out towards the left side, picked up there by Kaylee Denker. Denker a stop, back to Moore in the top of the key. Shot clock approaching 10. Moore spin move in the lane, pressured by Spacher. Turns it out to the top of the key. Denker for three, that's in and out. And the rebound to Powell for Valley City State. Powell beginning to shore things up as far as rebounding. Got beaten a couple of times early, but the latest couple of sequences we've seen from her inside, she's been much more physical and able to bring something down for the Vikings. Vikings still down 25-12. Johnson steps up to the foul line. Turns it back to Spacher, rotating towards the right. Back to the top, Wilhelmy driving left, shot clock under 10. Wilhelmy to Katie Johnson. She'll work her way inside, tried to kick down on the dribble drive and draw. The ball is deflected loose and finally brought down by Amina Hall. It'll be a takeaway for Bellevue as it goes into the book on a fight for a loose basketball. Moore top of the key for the Bruins. Hall dared to shoot a three, hits a line drive from the left corner. Amina Hall left alone after she got the basketball and sends in a line drive, but it finds the net. And it's 28-12. The Vikings are down by 16 after 3 minutes of the second quarter on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. A stop on the top of the key for Johnson. Powell looking near side. Spacher, 18-footer that misses. Katie Johnson, an offensive rebound. Turnaround putback, maybe drew some contact. She comes up empty. No call, and Gabby Moore will bring it back up front for Bellevue. Amina Hall wants that three again, and she hits it from the left corner. Amina Hall knocks down the 7th three-point shot for Bellevue in the half, and Bellevue has a 19-point lead. It's 31-12 in favor of the Bruins over the Vikings on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. 6:41 left till the break. We have a timeout for Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. This is Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
This is Dr. Ryan Lorenz, physical therapist at Mobility Plus Rehabilitation, with offices in Enderlin, Lisbon, Gwinner, and Valley City. Our mission is to provide exceptional physical and occupational therapy by highly skilled therapists to minimize pain and maximize mobility, which quickly allows you to return to the quality of life you desire. We will evaluate and educate you on your condition, review treatment options, and create an effective treatment plan to solve your impairments based on your unique situation and needs. I invite you to call our offices at Mobility Plus today.
Why choose professional eye care centers? Let me count the whys. First, there are now 4 great doctors to see. Dr. Frank, Dr. Freilich, Dr. Jangela, and now welcoming Dr. Bond. Next is their many locations. You can now see one of their spectacular doctors in Jamestown, Valley City, Carrington, Edgeley, Ellendale, and Lemoore. And finally, their fantastic frame selection. And yes, all of their frames and lenses are backed up by warranty. Visit ProEyeCareCenters.com and make an appointment today. Professional Eye Care Centers, clearly the best.
Timeout taken by the Vikings. Bellevue is now shooting nearly 50% from the three-point line as Madison Wilhelmy pulls up for three for the Vikings and misses. Rosie Anderson has the rebound and will be fouled from behind by Delaney Van Blaricon. We believe the foul will go that way, and it will. Van Blaricon has her first. The numbers out of the Viking timeout as they trail 31-12. 46.7% for three for Bellevue. Ashlyn Diemert steps into a three and knocks down her 13th point today, and the Vikings cut the gap back to 16 at 31-15, but 7 of 15 from the three-point line for Bellevue to start the day today. The Vikings dropping back into 2-3 zone, trying to match up and at least offer some opportunity of resistance on the outside shot. Moore for three from the top is good. Gabby Moore in a reversal left open straight up on the basket. She hits the three, and the lead's back to 19 for Bellevue, and a travel coming up as Madison Wilhelmy took a pass on the run, got a couple of steps in before setting down the dribble. Ellie Broughton will come in to replace her. This is an opportunity for Bellevue now to go up by 20 points plus here in the opening half of basketball, 34-15. Bellevue leading the Vikings by 19. Amina Hall, little high-low game. They look down low, and that one taken away from Zakiya Muhammad, who was on the back end of that high-low matchup. Elise Hebrink, left corner for the Vikings. Out to Diemert, another three. Ashlyn Diemert had a 20-point night last night. She's got 16 in less than 15 minutes of gameplay here today, and the Vikings are back within 16 at 34-18. Amina Hall to Gabby Moore. Right side to Van Blaricon for the Bruins. Off to Amina Hall, left wing, back to the right wing. Van Blaricon pulls up and misses short. Rebound's going to trickle out of bounds, and there's finally a miss for Bellevue. To that point, they were 8 of 16 from the three-point line, and they were shooting 54% from the field on the road. And that's a 54% performance from the field on the road after an overtime game last night in Dickinson, and now they're here in Valley City. Really a remarkable performance for this Bellevue team in the first 20 minutes of play today. We haven't played that much yet. Deemer left corner for the Vikings. The Vikings back within 16. Court wide pass. Spacher off to the right for Broughton. They look inside. It's kicked out, and here's a three by Broughton that hits the net. Ellie Broughton stepping into a three-point shot for the Vikings from the right wing. Good read inside by Madison Spacher to draw a defender and kick that back to Broughton, who was left alone. And the Vikings are back within 13 at 34-21. Moore left side. Van Blaricon for three. Connects again. Second three-point shot for Delaney Van Blaricon. 9 of 18, 50% from the three-point line today for this Bellevue Bruins team in the first 15 minutes and change of basketball. Hebrink to the top of the key, finding Ashlyn Deemer. Deemer looking for a screen from Anderson, drives opposite the screen, kicks to Hebrink, who will move it back to Anderson, and now Deemer again wants to run through one more time. Another screen by Anderson. It's jumped, and Deemer's in trouble. The ball's knocked loose. Deemer goes down to rescue it. Shot clock's at 5. We may have a held ball. It is a held ball. The Vikings will keep it on the arrow. And that's better than extinguishing a timeout if you're Valley City State with the shot clock down to 5. Taking a timeout there probably doesn't save much of a possession. You don't get your money's worth out of the timeout. So they get it back on the held ball. 5 seconds to shoot with 4:05 to play. Broughton gets the inbounds pass, gives it away off a screen. A 3 forced up near the horn that doesn't draw iron. It was taken, of course, by Ashlyn Deemer on the top. She's the player to take any shot right now for the Vikings. Ball goes back to Bellevue on the shot clock violation. Lead is again 16 at 37-21. The Vikings lurch to within 13 until a three-point shot by Delaney Van Blaricon. And now Bellevue's back in the front court with the basketball, less than 4 to play. Moore top of the key. Van Blaricon off the left wing. Looks into the foul line. The ball's knocked loose. Muhammad trying to reach down for it. Here's another held ball. Now this is what you lose on that last possession if you're the Vikings, is that would have been your held ball, but instead this one goes to Bellevue up in their front court. Nonetheless, though, you come out of there with a timeout intact, and the Vikings have already used a couple of those today. A look underneath the basket. Gabby Moore in the inbounds play. Van Blaricon just posting up on the left side, curling back out on top. She'll send it back out to the top of the key. Dunn. Van Blaricon looking down low. Little turn of the post off a bump, and we'll see a whistle on an offensive foul. The work being done by Jillian Friedman trying to find her way to the basket. And you could see a step in by Ashlyn Deemer looking to take the contact, and Deemer does. Deemer is playing Viking tough right now. She's answered the challenge that has come from head coach Vanessa Johnson to play with some toughness, and we'll see if the rest of the Vikings get inspired by that. A handoff, Deemer sending it back to Spacer on the top of the key. Back to Deemer, 3 left wing, money. 19 for Ashlyn Deemer. 5 3-point shots in the opening half for Deemer, and the Vikings again lurch back to within 13 at 37-24. Van Blaricon back to Moore on the top of the key. Left side for Dunn. Van Blaricon, Moore, Dunn again in the reversal. Left side 3, that one's off. That was challenged, and we'll see a foul coming up on the rebound. I think they're going to get Deemer for backing into Van Blaricon. Foul will go against Ashlyn Deemer, her first. That will be the second against the Vikings here in the quarter. Shelby Little will come back into the matchup, replacing Jillian Friedman. And Bellevue will inbound the basketball with just under 3 to play until the break. Moore looking to send it in. Underneath, able to find Little, who bounces her way down low. Rosie Anderson contested the shot. Ball's knocked loose, and it's picked up by Ellie Broughton, and the Vikings work their way into the front court quickly. Bounce pass to Deemer. She's fouled by Van Blaricon. Getting back defensively for Bellevue, and the Vikings will keep the ball in the front court. Van Blaricon has her second. Also, that's the final foul that Bellevue had to give before the half, which means the Vikings shoot the penalty for 2:46. And in a game like this, every point's important. The Vikings can get themselves the line and do some damage. Could be the difference. They're just trying to get this back to 10 if they can at this point after falling behind by 19. Here's a deep 3 by Deemer that's short. Even Ashlyn probably is going to realize that's beyond her range, but why not try to extend it the way she shot the basketball? Rebound goes long and out of bounds, and Bellevue will get it back. This is a big step-up possession for the Viking defense. Can they get a stop here? They need one Down 13, another chance to try to cut the lead to 11 or 10 if they can get a stop. Amina Hall coming into Little on the left side. Off to the right, ball fake and a drive by Dunn. Kick out, Amina Hall left alone for three. Hits it, another line drive. Three-point shot for Amina Hall. That is her ninth as Bellevue has just bombed away from the three-point line. That'll put them back at 50% at 10 of 20 on the afternoon. 10 first half threes for Bellevue. Lead is 16 again at 40-24. Broughton left alone. She'll take it, hits it. Ellie Broughton just staring it down with a hand in her face. The freshman comes up with the answer. Lead again cut to 13 at 40-27 with under 2 minutes to play. Here's a three by Dunn. That's an air ball. And Diemert on the weak side comes up with a rebound. Vikings looking to break up the floor. Elise Hebrink rescues a long pass. Kicks it out court wide. Spacier a head fake. She'll take the mid-range jumper off the dribble and missed it strong. Amina Hall has the rebound for Bellevue, and the Bruins will come back into the front court with it. Gabby Moore working right side, finding the basketball off to Brandy Dunn. Back to Moore. Dunn again being chased by Ellie Broughton on the near side. Moore on the top of the key. Amina Hall, left wing, taking a look at the basketball. Back to Moore straight up. Moore a jab step to her right foot. Comes back to Hall into the corner for Little. Little back to Moore on the foul line. Shot clock at 7. Moore hits it. Gabby Moore with the mid-range. She's got 15. It's not a three. Lead is 15 at 42-27. Long pass up the floor. It's going to result in a foul. Amina Hall may have been ticketed. Madison Spacier may have been ticketed. Ellie Broughton, or actually Ellie Powell may have been ticketed. Who are they going to get? They're going to get Amina Hall. And that will result in the penalty. The Vikings will shoot foul shots here. Spacier was on her way off the floor, but I think the Vikings had not realized that they had to take some foul shots. Or is it Rosie Anderson that was fouled? Yeah, Spacier's coming off. Rosie Anderson apparently was fouled. And so it'll be Rosie Anderson that shoots the penalty for Valley City State. 1:09 left until the break. The Vikings down 42-27. And these are big foul shots here for Rosie Anderson. First, no good. This basket just has not been kind to the Vikings today. They're 0 of 3 from the foul line. They've had several baskets roll around and nibble off, or several shots rather. Second foul shot for Anderson, that also no good. The Vikings 0 of 4 from the foul line. LaRue Laco Financial unchanged on the scoreboard at 42-27. Drive, Moore trying to change it, won't. Rebounds out of bounds, and Moore had to touch her while she was standing on the baseline. Ball goes back to the Vikings. Rosie Anderson out. Ellie Powell comes back into the matchup. And we'll see Ashlyn Diemert inbound the basketball to Madison Wilhelmy, who's waiting for it in the backcourt for the Vikings. Under a minute to play in the opening half. Ball near side of the floor. Elise Hebrink into Powell on the foul line. High post spin move back to her left. Oh, she couldn't get it to go. Powell's going to go to the foul line. That should have been an and one any other day of the week. That hung on the front of the rim and would not come back for Ellie Powell. This rim has just been jinxed for the Vikings this afternoon, but Powell earned her place at the foul line as Shelby Little commits her second. Powell's first foul shot, short off the front of the rim. 0 of 5 from the foul line now for the Vikings this afternoon. 7 threes for the Vikings, 10 for Bellevue here in the opening half. 17 three-point shots hit between the two teams, and the Vikings finally tear the lid off that basket, at least from the foul line, as Powell hits the second. Lead cut to 14 at 42-28. Brandy Dunn on top, kicks it back to the top for Dinker. Dinker back to Dunn. Driving left side, shot block. Powell came out to challenge that from the foul line. Wilhelmy wants to run down numbers. Bounces one into Hebrink. Head fake, kicks it out. Wilhelmy in the corner will work it back to Hebrink. Now on top, Diemert's left alone for three. Hits it again. Ashlyn Diemert with 22 first half points. 6 threes for the young lady out of West Fargo. The Vikings are back within 11 as we move to the final possession of the opening half. On top, it's Dunn for Bellevue. Couple of between the legs. Working left side, Wilhelmy will give her left. With 8 seconds on the clock, Dunn goes left. A stop on the left elbow late. She'll kick it left corner to Amina Hall. Out to the near side of the floor. Dinker trying to improve her spot. Ends up empty, and the Vikings are charging back. They were down 19. They get back to within 11 behind 22 first half points from Ashlyn Diemert, including 6 three-point shots for Diemert in the first half of play. The Vikings were at one point down 19. They're back within 11. On the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard, your score at the break is the Bruins 42 and the Vikings 31. We'll come back with our halftime report presented by Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good. Our halftime report is next. This is Viking basketball, the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC. Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on three major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com.
Lever's Foods, best quality, best price. Lever's Foods, best service, they're nice. Lever's Foods, they make everything right. Lever's Foods.
All this week at Lever's Foods in Valley City, save big on Campbell's chicken noodle or tomato soup, 4 for $4.68. General Mills cereal, 2 for $6.88. Idaho russet, North Dakota red, or yellow potatoes, just $1.99 for a 5-pound bag. And boneless pork sirloin chops, only $2.49 a pound. Delivery is available by calling 845-1732. Lever's Foods, Valley City.
Hi, this is Clint from Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy in beautiful downtown Valley City, your only locally owned pharmacy since 1989. When you're locally owned, you care about your community and your customers. We offer a great selection of gifts and toys, as well as yarns, fabrics, sewing, and crafting. We are here for you from 9 to 5:30 weekdays and Saturdays 9 to 1. For all your pharmaceutical needs, give us a call, 845-5280.
Health Mart, taking time to listen and care. Sanford Health of Valley City is dedicated to transforming your healthcare experience and providing access to world-class healthcare right here in America's heartland. We're committed to improving the human condition at every stage of life through exceptional care, spiritual enhancement, innovation, and discovery. Schedule your appointment today at Sanford Health of Valley City by calling 701-845-6000 or self-schedule online at mysanfordchart.org. Sanford Health, here for all, here for good.
We welcome you to our Viking halftime report today from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse on campus of Valley City State. First home weekend of conference basketball this weekend, and the Viking women, after a loss last night at the hands of the 13th ranked team in the country, Dakota State, trail Bellevue, Nebraska by a score of 42-31. The Vikings were down by a score of 31-12 in that first half of basketball and came back behind the hot hand of Ashlyn Deemert, who stuck 22 points on 6 threes in the first half of play to claw themselves back to within 11 as the Vikings and Bruins go to the break here today. Our halftime report is presented by Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good. Rambo is your place to go when it's time for promotional products and apparel for your team or business. They get the work done fast, and they get it done well because they know promotion of your business or team is important to you. Rambo, we're in the business of making you look good. Proud supporters of Viking athletics. Well, when somebody's got to step up, and you know it, with Adriana Torres away from the team for the Vikings today due to a family funeral, someone's got to step up and try to fill the void. Now, you're hoping someone compliments Ashlyn Deemert after a 20-point performance that Ashlyn had last night against Dakota State. But if Ashlyn has to do just more of the same, she apparently will. Ashlyn Deemert played 18 minutes and 20 seconds of the first half. She was only on the bench for a minute 40 and knocked down 6 threes and 22 total points. Deemert in that first half of basketball was 8 of 15 from the field. She was 6 of 9 from the three-point line, had 22 points, came down with a couple of rebounds as well. But an unbelievable first half for Ashlyn Deemert, and she has kept the Vikings in the game against Bellevue, who comes in today with an 8-9 record, 1-1 in the league. The Vikings 0-1 in the conference and 6-9 overall. And right now it's Bellevue 42 and Valley City State 31. The Bruins, as we mentioned, built up a 31-12 lead in the opening half because they did nothing but hit the three-point shot. At one point, they were 10 of 20 from the three-point line. It's currently 10 of 21, 47.5% in that first half. Here's the anomaly of the game today. Teams are not supposed to shoot the basketball better from beyond the three-point line than they do inside the three-point line. Both teams did in the first half. For Waldorf, or rather, I should say rather for Bellevue, it was marginal. Bellevue shot the ball 47.6% from beyond and 47.1% from the field. So they were just a bit better from beyond the three-point line than inside it. But the Vikings were 53.3% from beyond the three-point line, and less than 40% from the field. They were 39.3% from the field. Now, we mentioned the basket seemed to have a lid on it. So the Vikings were 11 of 28 from the field. If you take out 8 of 15 from the three-point line, the Vikings were 3 of 13 in the first half from inside the three-point line. That's just not basketball that you're used to seeing. 3 of 13 inside the three-point line. That is less than 25% from inside the three-point line, but the three-point shooting keeps the Vikings at least with a chance, down by that 11-point margin at 42-31. Individual numbers that we have in this one. Bellevue led by Gabby Moore's 15 points in the opening half. Moore was 3 of 5 from beyond the line, 6 of 10 overall from the field, and also had 5 rebounds to go along with her 15 points. She leads Bellevue in both of those categories. 8 points for Brandy Dunn in the opening half. Delaney Van Blaricon knocked down a couple of threes for 6, and 4 points for Shelby Little in the first half of play for the scoring for Bellevue. For Valley City State, we mentioned 22 points and 2 rebounds for Ashlyn Deemer in the opening half. Ellie Broughton had 6 points, knocked down a pair of threes. She was 2 of 2 from beyond the three-point line. Rosie Anderson with 2, a single out there for Ellie Powell. The Vikings were out-rebounded 22-15, 5-2 on the offensive glass, but tightened that up a little bit as they got a little deeper down the half. And the Vikings also took a little bit better care of the basketball in the second quarter than they did in the first. The Vikings had committed 3 turnovers in the opening quarter. They end up committing just 5 total for the first half. But the three-point shooting of Ashlyn Deemer, and in general the play of Ashlyn Deemer, as the Vikings back from down 19 to down 11 at the halftime break. Deemer with 22 first-half points, and the Vikings trail 42-31 to Bellevue, Nebraska this afternoon on a Saturday afternoon here in Valley City as part of a stormy situation that we have out there. We'll go through the weather details that we have for you next, and a brief preview of Viking men's basketball coming up as well. So stay with us for that as we continue our halftime report presented by Rambo. This is Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Hey VCSU fans, this is Dennis McCulloch, head football coach and athletic director at Valley City State University. This season we have more than 270 student athletes competing for VCSU in 14 different sports. They wear Viking colors with a tremendous amount of pride in our school and our community. Your generous donations to VCSU Century Club ensures that we can recruit and retain the finest student athletes in the NEI. Our goals are lofty, and we can't do it without your scholarship dollars. Call 845-7161 and join us in supporting our hometown team.
When you're craving the taste of juicy, flavorful, locally sourced beef and pork, look no further than your locally owned Valley Meat Supply. At Valley Meat Supply, we take pride in bringing you the finest cuts of beef and pork straight from local producers. So whether you're planning a mouth-watering barbecue or a cozy family meal, choose Valley Meat Supply for the highest quality, locally grown beef, pork, and award-winning jerky, sticks, and sausage. Valley Meat Supply, West Main, Valley City. Your taste buds will thank you.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Lockout Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue at 701-845-6938 or James M. Lockout at CPA 701-845-1660. Services offered through Investment Advisors, a division of Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, and securities offered through Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA and SIPC.
Every body is different. Some experience injuries, while others need extra support.
I'll help you, Grandma.
At Jamestown Regional Medical Center, your health is what matters most. Our orthopedics and sports medicine team care for you and your unique needs. Their goal is to help you live your best life. Choose Jamestown Regional Medical Center for care of hips, shoulders, knees, and broken bones. Learn more at jrmcnd.com/orthopedics.
Why choose professional eye care centers? Let me count the whys. First, there are now 4 great doctors to see. Dr. Frank, Dr. Freilich, Dr. Jangela, and now welcoming Dr. Bond. Next is their many locations. You can now see one of their spectacular doctors in Jamestown, Valley City, Carrington, Edgeley, Ellendale, and Lemoore. And finally, their fantastic frame selection. And yes, all of their frames and lenses are backed up by warranty. Visit ProEyeCareCenters.com and make an appointment today. Professional Eye Care Centers, clearly the best.
Welcome back to Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC. Ryan Cunningham with you here today from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse, where the Viking women, after trailing by 19 at one juncture in the opening half, they get 22 first-half points from Ashlyn Diemert, who's just a couple of three-point shots away from writing her name in the record books here today. More on that in a second. The Vikings trailing by a score of 42-31, an 11-point margin here at the halftime break. Halftime report brought to you today by Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good. See Rambo for all of your promotional apparel and promotional products. If you need to promote your business or your team, they get you covered quickly and they get you covered right at Rambo. So today, obviously, weather details that are worth mentioning to you out there. Now, as of yet, the only weather-related announcements that we've had as far as the Valley City area is a breakfast that's been canceled by Trinity Lutheran Church. Trinity Lutheran has canceled a breakfast for tomorrow. Now, apparently, services are still on at Trinity Lutheran Church, and we haven't seen anything else as far as services being canceled. Now, the blizzard warning that we're under goes until 6 o'clock tonight. You might be wondering, okay, so why the decision so early? Well, the cold wind chills aren't supposed to go away, and if there are any sort of travel issues at all that sort of hang around, that could become kind of an issue out there as we go forward. So we'll keep you up to date with those things, but the latest that we have as far as the National Weather Service is concerned, I believe most things have stayed pretty much the same. Blizzard warning for Barnes, Cass, Griggs Steel Trail, Nelson, Grand Forks, up into the northeast corner, Devil's Lake, Walsh, Cavalier, Pembina, and over onto the Minnesota side of the Red River as well. Kitson, West Marshall, West Polk, Norman, Clay, all in that blizzard warning. It'll go until 6 o'clock tonight. It is basically for open country blizzard effects, brief whiteouts that can take place. Snow accumulations maybe an inch throughout the course of the day, which isn't a lot, but when it's being blown around by 40-mile-per-hour winds, you've got a situation where you can get brief whiteout conditions and dangerously cold wind chills if you end up stuck someplace. So travel is definitely an issue at this point. I'm somewhat surprised, actually, that Barnes County hasn't issued a no travel advisory. Right now it is a travel alert. There aren't any roads that are closed as of yet, but Cass, Trail, Grand Forks, Walsh, and Pembina counties are in a no travel advisory at this point, and that would include the I-29 corridor, basically from from North Dakota Highway 46 all the way up to Canada. So 46 is the road that Kindred is on south of the interstate. So basically about 15 miles south of I-94, straight north on I-29 to the Canadian border. That's what you're looking at as far as a no travel advisory on I-29. The remainder of the roads in North Dakota, mostly snow-covered, Devil's Lake Basin down to Valley City. There are some brief moments where the road is in pretty good condition. The interstate through Stutzman County is listed to be in good winter driving condition all the way out as far as Steele and Kidder County before it becomes snow-covered again. But that handful of counties, Cass, Trail, Grand Forks, Walsh, and Pembina along the I-29 corridor, they have no travel advisories that are out right now in that regard. And there are some various accidents that are popping up all the time. There was a very difficult accident today near Absaraka on the interstate that even caused a brief delay in getting officials here for the games that were coming from Fargo today. So those are some things that everybody's been dealing with. We have not a great crowd, but certainly a boisterous one, enough people here to make it look like, well, there's at least life out there. Just before game time today, we had 5 total people as we got our pregame broadcast started today. There were 5 total fans, non-game day staff that were here, but they've come in a little bit around the edges as the game has moved on. There's probably not a whole lot else going on in town right now that's not going to suffer the fate of being canceled or postponed. But again, the only cancellation that we have for the Valley City area is a breakfast at Trinity Lutheran tomorrow. It seems like the churches are going to take their time, wait most of this out, and start making their decisions a little bit later. We'll keep you up to date, though, as that goes along. Halftime report comes to a conclusion. The Vikings start the second half with a 42-31 deficit to try to whittle into. And here's a three-point shot by Ashlyn Diemert. There's 7. Ashlyn Diemert has tied the VCSU record for three-point shots in a game. One more and she breaks the record for three-point shots made by a single player in a game at Valley City State. 7's been done 4 times. Turnaround jump shot from the elbow by Kaylee Denker will score for 2 for the Bruins, and the Bruins have got back to a 10-point lead. That 3 for Ashlyn Deemert briefly cut the lead to 8. It's now 10 at 44-34. And one more 3 for Deemert, and she's got the record. She'll be in the record books all time. Deemert driving this time, looking for a 2-point shot, missed it off the bottom of the backboard. Gabby Moore comes up with a rebound. Now again, Vikings back to within 10 momentarily. Somebody forgot about Gabby Moore. She just drives the basket and scores. There was some confusion. Elise Hebrink had Gabby Moore coming back into the front court for Bellevue and then just bailed up and off of her and left her alone, and nobody was back there to pick her up. Bruins lead once again now by 12 at 46-34. Deemert driving in, little double pivot, fall away up the glass, misses. Rebound contained underneath. Powell got it and puts it back. Ellie Powell with an offensive rebound, stick back. Big physical play for Powell inside to come up with the old board, and the Vikings are back within 10 at 46-36 on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. A minute and a half into the third quarter of play. Ball top of the key, Amina Hall. She had 3 threes in the opening half on some line drive chucks. Brandy Dunn to Gabby Moore into Little. Little taking a look, stepping up against Powell, kicking out to the right side. Shot clock count is going on in the background. Kaylee Dinker driving in on Deemer, puts a shoulder in, tries to hook around, ends up missing a shot short. Opportunity for the Vikings to cut that lead into double figures again. Deemer to head fake, a step to the foul line, a kick, and we'll see a foul on the floor against Bellevue. Foul's going to go against Amina Hall. That'll be her second. And the first team foul the second half against Bellevue the third quarter. Inbounds play will come into the top of the key. It'll be run down by Ashlyn Deemer. Deemer gets a screen working right, tried to go screen and roll. Ball is deflected back out to the perimeter, and then Deemer trying to reach over the top of, I believe, Kaylee Dinker. Yeah, it was Kaylee Dinker that ended up being knocked down. Good hip tackle that time by Ashlyn Deemer. She'll pick up her second foul. Just got a hip, or rather a shoulder, right into a hip on Dinker. And Dinker was a little frustrated that she got knocked down on that one, but just a good hard play for the basketball. 46-36, the Bruins with a 10-point lead over the Vikings. Dinker on the foul line, taking a look. Comes back to Moore in the top of the key. Moore working right side, step back from the baseline. Jump shot falling away, missed. Little comes up with an old board. Roberts came in, tried to put her hands in there. Thought she had a held ball and starts to have a couple of exclamations that were probably not friendly towards the call. Haley Roberts with her second personal foul, and that will be the second team foul of the quarter against Valley City State. Inbounds pass top of the key to Dinker, and now to Little on the top. Little coming back near side. Gabby Moore catch and shoot 3 off the heel of the rim. This time the rebound contained by Elise Hebrink. She had a nice night rebounding last night and out-rebounded a much bigger player there. Hebrink trying to take a touch pass back from Ellie Broughton. Ball was through her hands too strong. Gabby Moore comes away with the basketball for Bellevue. 46-36, Bellevue continues to lead by 10. They led at one point by 19. The Vikings have been able to chip into as few as 8 since then. Amina Hall going into the right side. We'll see Delaney, a turn by, I apologize there. I got lost on the number. It's Kaylee Dinker that had the basketball on the high post right side. She made a turn, got tied up. Ball will stay with Bellevue on the held ball, and Gabby Moore will inbound. Moore out to Little on the top of the key. Shot clock 10 seconds. Amina Hall stepping back in some trouble. Back to the top. Dunn driving. Back to the near side of the floor. Dinker cutting right. They go down to Little. Little shot contested at the horn. She missed it. Rebound picked up. Brought up the floor for the Vikings. That time for the Vikings by Haley Roberts. They look into Powell and an ill-advised pass from Hebrink, and that's knocked out of the post. And once again, Bellevue right back up in the front court with the basketball after a very brief Bellevue possession. Moore near side of the floor for the Bruins. She'll curl off a screen that she got from Little. A stop on the elbow, back to Amina Hall. Line drive 3, good again. Amina Hall has done that 4 times. There's hardly any arc to that three-point shot, but she knows how to hit it. 12 points for Amina Hall. The lead is back to 13 at 49-36 Bruins. Hebrink on the left side of the floor. They'll go to the elbow for Powell. Powell hard take to the basket, scoop layup, got up and under, but could not finish on some defense that came back across from Kaylee Dinker, and the ball goes back to Bellevue. They'll bring it back into the front court, looking to now build on a 13-point lead. You hope the Vikings didn't have that one opportunity in that sequence. Denker going high-low to Little inside. Little being chased by Powell. Little's hemmed off on the baseline by Powell. Turns it back to Moore. Quick release on a three that's off the heel of the rim. Rebound deflected to the perimeter, and Elise Hebrink runs it down. She's up the floor, down numbers, kicks it underneath. Roberts kicks it and scores. What a play by Elise Hebrink, who was down numbers coming up. 2-on-3, but got a run out in front and turns it into a 2-on-1 with great speed and found Haley Roberts cutting to the basket. The Vikings are back within 11 at 49-38. Amina Hall back to the basket, way out on the top of the key, trying to back down against Hebrink. Turns it back out on top for Brandy Dunn. Dinker, a right side three, good again. Kaylee Dinker stepping back and draining a three. The lead grows to 14 at 52-38. Deemert up the floor, head fake in a transition three, pulls up mid-range on the baseline, hits it. Deemer's got 27 today. Ashlyn Deemert cuts the Vikings back to within 12 at 52-40. Got to find stops, got to contest those threes no matter where they are as Bellevue walks back into the front court with 5 minutes left of the third on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. A stop and a look into the corner. Brandy Dunn out to the sideline again for Moore. Moore tosses in looking for Little. It was contested. Little comes back to the high post to get it. Amina Hall for three is off the heel this time. Another rebound fight out of bounds off of Little. It'll go back to the Vikings. Delaney Van Blaricon will come back into the matchup. We'll also see the return of, I believe, Zakia Muhammad will come back into the matchup for Bellevue as well. The Vikings will make a change. J.C. Richter comes back onto the floor for Valley City State. Rosie Anderson will come out onto the floor as well. Ball with Richter, high-low. Anderson, kick out too high for everybody. Looking for Haley Roberts on the wing, and this is a troubling situation right now for Valley City State. You're not finding a lot of players on the floor that really want the ball in their hands around the basket. We've seen a couple of plays go inside where the ball comes right back out. That's a case where Rosie Anderson can turn and score, and she tried to make the pass to Haley Roberts to the wing, and it results in a turnover. Bellevue back into the front court. Van Blaricon on the top of the key. Gabby Moore driving left, sags away into the left corner. Turns it back out for Brandy Dunn. Good physical matchup inside right now between Anderson and Muhammad. Muhammad turns to a right-handed, scores. Zakia Muhammad with her first two. The lead back to 14 for Bellevue at 54-40. Richter on the foul line, bluffs on a jump shot, sends it to Haley Roberts, backdoor cut into Rosie Anderson. Anderson will score, and there's a good physical play for Rosie Anderson and the Vikings. That time the Vikings attack the basket and score, and they're back within 12 at 54-42. Under 4 minutes left to go of the third, and it's been running away on us. On top, Muhammad looking at Brandy Dunn. Backdoor cut to Moore. No one home as Moore tried to shake and bake on the perimeter, and the ball ends up out of bounds. Valley City State will get it back. Chance again for the Vikings to cut this to 10, possibly 9, if they can hit a three-point shot. We're all watching Ashlyn Deemert, who's got 7 three-point shots today, needs one to break the record for the most three-point shots in a game at Valley City State. Roberts crossover, moving hard, take to the window. That's a high bank shot for Haley Roberts. That's good. Roberts is a 9 points per game scorer. She's got 4 today, and the Vikings need her to create another threat going to the basket. Vikings back within 10 at 54-44. A foul coming up inside against Rosie Anderson, trying to deny Zakia Muhammad the basketball. Anderson with her second. And a change coming up here as we'll see Kaylee Dinker back into the matchup. She'll replace Amina Hall. It's an interesting change. Amina Hall would line up as a forward, but has played on the perimeter as far as offense is concerned today. Dinker driving in against Richter, fall away good. Kaylee Dinker with 7, driving in against J.C. Richter, hitting the fall away shot. Roberts into the front court, deep stare at a 3, rolls off the front, no good. Rebound put back, Richter can't get it to finish, but will go to the line. There's another one of those opportunities where the Vikings have a ball that goes around and won't go in. Foul against Dinker is her second. And we'll see J.C. Richter going to the foul line for Valley City State. Missed a couple back in the opening half. Could use her here. Everything matters for the Vikings. And it gets quiet in the gym all of a sudden as Richter takes her first foul shot and hits it. It's almost like you have to do that. The way that the shooting gods have not been on the Vikings side today. You get quiet. Second foul shot for Richter, and that one will roll off. And boy, the Vikings have had a tough day from the foul line. Haven't been there much. Lead cut to 11, 56-45. Bellevue on top, 2 minutes, 40 seconds to play on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard here in the third quarter. Ball right side with Gabby Moore to Van Blaricon on the right sideline for the Bruins. Gabby Moore again on the left wing, stepping against Richter, curling off a screen. Right side, Van Blaricon on the wing, popping out on top. Brandy Dunn, high-low game. Dinker trying to back her way down with the left hand, missed it short. Rebound, Rosie Anderson. Here come the Vikings, trying to cut this under 10. A drive towards the left side of the floor. Broughton turns it back to the top of the key. Ashlyn Diemert now to Roberts. Roberts taking a three. It was contested and blocked. The rebound's loose along the baseline. Zakia Mohammed went down to get it, and a travel is called against Mohammed, rolling away from pressure to hold on to the basketball. So the Vikings will get it back in the front court. Lead is 11 for the Bruins at 56-45. Can the Vikings get this down to 7, maybe 6 at the end of the third quarter? Out on top, Diemert. This is a long two, and it comes up short. Rebound saved in bounds by Richter, but will roll empty to the far sideline, and we'll go back to Bellevue. Bruins will get it back with a 56-45 lead. Boy, in those situations where the Vikings have come away from a stop, it's been difficult to find offense. At times, the Vikings have been able to answer, but coming away from a stop and cutting into a lead, that's been the difficult part today for Valley City State. Gabby Moore into the front court, 2 posts high. Mohammed on the left and Dinker on the right. Dinker will take the basketball. Dunn comes off a screen, take the basketball top of the key, and back to Moore now on the top of the key, who will call a new play. 10 seconds, she wants ISO. Moore working right side. Vlambericon on a head fake will pop for 3 and left it short. Rebounds on the perimeter, and Diemert outran Van Blaricon to the basketball, but both will get a hand on it, and the held ball will favor Bellevue on the arrow. So the ball goes back to the Bruins with 1 minute and 33 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Inbounds pass from Gabby Moore along the baseline. Moore taking a look. Van Blaricon coming open in the paint. Drives back right, forces up a shot, and drew a foul. Ellie Broughton taking a look back, saying, was that on me? And it was. And Broughton has a confused look, trying to figure out where the foul was. In the meantime, Delaney Van Blaricon, starter a year ago for Bellevue, now playing in a bench role, but has had sizable minutes for the Bruins here today, will step to the foul line, and her first is good. And Van Blaricon now with a 7-point performance, couple of threes to go with that foul shot. Lead back to 12 for the Bruins at 57-45. It will stay at 12 as the second is missed, and Rosie Anderson comes up with a rebound for Valley City State. Lead is 12 for the Bruins at 57-45, down to 1 minute 20. Broughton, top of the key for the Vikings, giving away to J.C. Richter. Richter driving right, going hard to the basket. She scores, but that'll be waved off. There was a foul on the floor well away from the basket. Foul's going to go against Brandy Dunn, her second. The third on Bellevue. They still have 1 to give before the penalty. The next foul against the Vikings is the penalty. Inbounds pass to come in from Broughton. She'll swing it out to the right side for Rosie Anderson. It's deflected, ends up in the back court, and we'll see the ball retrieved by Ashlyn Diemert. She takes a look at the shot clock. 15 seconds of it as the Vikings work their way back up front. Van Blaricon will be screened. A curl by Diemert, a pull up from 10. She hits the teardrop. Diemert now with a 30-point day. Call it 29 for the moment for Ashlyn Diemert. The lead cutting into 10 at 57-47. Ball near side. Van Blaricon and a foul against Diemert coming out to pressure the basketball. And Diemert will have to come out after picking up that third foul here in the quarter. They don't want her to get her fourth in the final 48 seconds. Elise Hebrink will come on to replace her. Again, all this going on without Adriana Torres. 10 points per game, 5 rebounds a game. Torres had a funeral today for the family, and the Vikings trying to find a way to kind of fill in the gaps, and we're still waiting. Diemert's done a really nice job, but the Vikings need someone else to step into that role, and that's not on Adriana. She's a great lady, great competitor, obviously putting family first, which we appreciate, but somebody's got to step in and take that role and say, I'm going to be Adriana today. 9 points for Delaney Van Blaricon as she knocks down both ends of the foul shooting on the penalty, and the Vikings are back down a dozen at 59-47. 40 seconds left to go third quarter. Driving the right side for Ellie Broughton for the Vikings, looking for a screen, went opposite the screen. Hard take to the rack, Broughton scores. Ellie Broughton might be able to do that all day if she wants to. 8 points for Ellie Broughton. She had a great first step in that sequence and got to the window. Lead cut to 10. at 59-49. Gabby Moore up front with the shot clock turned off. Brodden will step out to set the count. A look by Moore towards the right side. Left hand back to right. Now stepping away from Broughton again. 10 seconds. They will give her the left hand. She tries to go hard to the right. Maybe a push. Now a crossover back to the left. Put the shoulder down. Broughton wants a foul that she won't get, but comes down with the rebound. That'll be the end of the third quarter of basketball. The Vikings back to within 10 as Ashlyn Diemert flirts with history today, trying to find one more three-point shot to put herself in the record books with 8 in a single game. She has 7 and 29 points, and the Vikings trail by 10 after 3. 59-49, Bellevue with the lead on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard as we go to the fourth quarter of basketball. This is Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC, back after a Mobility Plus rehabilitation timeout. Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on 3 major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com.
Lever's Foods, best quality, best price. Lever's Foods, best service, they're nice. Lever's Foods, they make everything right. Lever's Foods.
All this week at Lever's Foods in Valley City, save big on Campbell's chicken noodle or tomato soup, 4 for $4.68. General Mills cereal, 2 for $6.88. Idaho russet, North Dakota red, or yellow potatoes, just $1.99 for a 5-pound bag. And boneless pork sirloin chops, only $2.49 a pound. Delivery is available by calling 845-1732. Lever's Foods, Valley City.
Viking basketball, the Viking women back within 10, trailing Bellevue 59-49 today in quarter number 4 as it gets started. Haley Roberts driving right side, pulls up on a teardrop in the lane, cuts the lead to 8. This is as close as the Vikings have been since they went down by 19 points earlier in the matchup. The Vikings get back to within 8 by a score of 59-51. Do they have the heart and the stamina to pull this thing off today? Ball near side, Gabby Moore for Bellevue, curling back into the lane, twists back out to the top of the key, Dunn kicking back to Little on top, and now Moore on the right side. Moore gets a screen coming back left, the Vikings switch, then get back. Broughton trying to get back at Moore, teardrop for Moore, no good, offensive foul. Gabby Moore will be called for her second personal foul today, and that came after the shot that was taken. The Vikings held their ground on the baseline, and Valley City State will get the basketball back, and now a conversion for the Vikings would make this a 2-possession game again here in the fourth quarter. Broughton stepping up top of the key, finding Ashlyn Diemert. Elise Hebrink on the left wing for the Vikings, goes in. Richter trying to back her way down, curls underneath the basket, goes reverse and scores. How about that for the libero? J.C. Richter with her first field goal today, but a savvy play on the baseline. Richter's got 3, and the Vikings are back within 6 at 59-53. A step inside by Danker. She traveled on the way there, going to turn to a held ball. Ball's going to stay with Bellevue. It looked like from our vantage point that Danker had traveled as well as she was trying to make her way to the basket, but in the long run, the Vikings get to reset the arrow. Bellevue keeps it with 17 on the shot clock. Moore to inbound. It comes out to Decker on the top of the key, and Dinker will turn it off towards the right for Little. Gabby Moore left side, back to Dinker in the left block, backing in on Richter, off the glass, it scores. That's all they can do. Kaylee Dinker with 9. It's just a mismatch inside. Vikings struggling to find a defender on Dinker, and it's 61-53, lead back to 8. Diemert a head fake on a 3, moving right side, kicks down low to Richter, the dribble, drive, and draw. What a nice play again by Ashlyn Diemert, and Richter scores for her 5th today. The lead cut back to 6 at 61-55. On the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard, we're at 8:10 to play in the fourth quarter. Ball top of the key with Amina Hall. Left wing Gabby Moore going between the legs of the dribble. Works back out towards the top. Dinker setting a screen. Moore comes back to the near side. Dinker's left alone for 3. It trickles off, and the rebound for Ashlyn Diemert inside. Here's a chance for the Vikings to cut it to 4 or 3. Broughton left side of the floor looking back to the top of the key at Hebrink. And now a drive again for Diemert. Inside, underneath, there's Richter again. J.C. Richter with 7. 6 here in the fourth quarter. The Vikings are back within 4, and a timeout's taken by Bellevue. The crowd's not big, but it comes to life here today at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse as the Vikings have cut a 19-point lead to 4. 61-57 on the LaRue Lago Financial scoreboard with 7:39 to go. Timeout Bellevue for Mobility Plus Rehabilitation, and this is Viking basketball.
Hi, this is Clint from Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy in beautiful downtown Valley City, your only locally owned pharmacy since 1989. When you're locally owned, you care about your community and your customers. We offer a great selection of gifts and toys, as well as yarns, fabrics, sewing, and crafting. We are here for you from 9 to 5:30 weekdays and Saturdays 9 to 1. For all your pharmaceutical needs, give us a call, 845-5280.
Health Mart, taking time to listen and care.
Timeout taken by Bellevue, a 30-second stoppage as the Vikings have whittled their way back from down 19 to down 4, 61-57. Valley City State down 4 to Bellevue. Bruins with the basketball out of their timeout. A drive inside taken by Brandy Dunn. She'll work back to Gabby Moore in the right wing. Moore to the basket. That one floats in and out. And the rebound underneath to Broughton. Kick out for Elise Hebrink. Hebrink driving in. Pulls up off the glass and scores. Hebrink in transition will cut the lead to 2 at 61-59. Amina Hall left wing for the Bruins into Little. Backing down on Diemert. Fall away good. Working inside, Little has her 6th today. Lead back to 4 for Valley City State. Richter gets open inside, head fake, fouled. She'll go to the line. Hit in the act of shooting, and that foul's going to go against Kaylee Dinker, her 3rd. The second team foul against Bellevue with just under 7 minutes to play now in the 4th quarter. And that'll bring Dinker off the floor. And J.C. Richter here in the 4th quarter has found a way to really contribute. 7 points. She's been a post at about 5'6". I'm not sure what they list her at. Yeah, 5'6" is what they list her at. First foul shot is on the way and good. Two-sport athlete here at Valley City State. It's tough at the collegiate level to be a two-sport athlete, particularly in back-to-back seasons like she has done. She's done it for a couple of years. Second foul shot is good. She's got an 8-point 4th quarter, 9 for the game. Again, the Vikings have cut it to a one-bucket game, 63-61, Bellevue by 2. After they led by 19 earlier in the game, did Bellevue. Amina Hall on the top of the key, reversal to Van Blaricon. A stop, that'll work back out to the top. Dunn, jab stepping towards the left. A stop off the dribble on the right, looks back at Moore. Shot clock at 10 seconds. Moore back to Dunn. They look down low at Muhammad, can't find her. A drive by Moore, ball got away in a behind-the-back dribble. The shot clock's at 3, down to 1. A step back by Moore, she flies and misses. And another tough rebound for Elise Hebrink for the Vikings. The Vikings can tie or take the lead on this possession up the floor. Ball to the top of the key for Ashlyn Diemert. Diemert asking for a screen. Richter comes out to set it. Diemert took a look at a 3. Drives hard to the basket. Can't get it to go, but she'll have a chance to tie the game from the foul line, and Diemert will have a chance at a 30-point performance. Fouls against Zakia Muhammad. That'll be her first. And that's now the 3rd team foul against Bellevue with 6:10 to go. Bellevue has just one more to give before the penalty here in the 4th quarter as well. Diemert at the line, shooting 2. First is on the way, and it's in and out and back in. Diemert with 30 points today. 1-point game at 63-62 Bellevue, and the Vikings will look to tie it up on this foul shot from Diemert, and she hits it. And it's an even game once again. 31 for Diemert. We're tied at 63. The Vikings have clawed their way back from down 19 to even the game. Amina Hall to Van Blaricon on top. Out between the rings, ball with Dunn, and back to Amina Hall in the flex motion. And a ball knocked loose on the far side. It's out of bounds. This is last touch by Van Blaricon. It'll go back to the Vikings. Broughton disrupted it, and it hit Van Blaricon before going back out of bounds. And the official stated it right away. And the Vikings go lead hunting with under 6 to play here in the 4th quarter. A drive to the baseline by Roberts. They'll kick to Hebrink in the corner. Back out to Diemert. For the record, the 3 is an air ball. The rebound's out of bounds and will go back to Bellevue. Diemert finally had a good look at an open 3-point shot. She has 7 3-point shots gone down today. One more and she owns the record in a single game at Valley City State for 3s in a game. She had a final look, or a good look that time. Finally, they had been challenging her well. She got a look that time and came up empty. Bellevue with the basketball. We're tied at 63, and a reach that knocked the ball loose. Elise Hebrink is shocked that she's going to be called for a reach and foul. Or will it be Haley Roberts that picks it up? They're going to get Haley Roberts on the foul. That'll be Haley's third personal. First foul against the Vikings here in the fourth quarter. Amina Hall will take the inbounds pass for Bellevue. She bodies up on Richter inside. The turn, the follow away, no good, but a rebound. Muhammad, her putback won't go either. And here's another rebound for Elise Hebrink. And the Vikings lead their way up the floor. Broughton on the right side taking a look. Swings it back off to the top. Deemer left side looking for Haley Roberts. Roberts will take a deep three, and it rolls off the front of the rim. Rebound near side to Amina Hall for Bellevue. We're halfway through the fourth quarter. Long pass up the floor, picked away by Haley Roberts for the Vikings. The Vikings again come up the floor looking for the lead. Deemer left side of a head fake, and a foul coming up in the perimeter. That's the last foul that Bellevue had to give. The Vikings will shoot the penalty the rest of the way. Gabby Moore's third, and that could be a huge factor here in the fourth quarter. Tie game at 63. But the Vikings will have the opportunity to shoot the penalty for nearly 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Ball top of the key, Roberts, Hebrink, left corner, Ellie Broughton. A head fake, Broughton taking a look at the high post. Deemer comes open, puts a head fake in on Denker, then tries a fall away that's missed. And the rebound to Van Blaricon for Bellevue. We're still tied at 63 on the LaRue Lacto Financial scoreboard. 4.5 to go. Bellevue back in the front court with the basketball. Dinker on the right side, jab stepping right, turns it back to the top. Hard take to the basket by Dunn, left well short. Rebound underneath the J.C. Richter. The Vikings are on the fly. It's Richter looking left side. Comes back towards the middle of the floor, stops. Another opportunity for the record. Deemer in and out. It was 2/3 of the way down. Broughton comes up with an offensive rebound and a timeout taken by Valley City State as that was 2/3 of the way through for Deemer and wouldn't fall. Timeout taken by the Vikings. It's a timeout for Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. Even at 63 each, the Vikings have rallied from down 19 on the LaRue Lacko Financial scoreboard. We're back with more in a moment.
This is Dr. Ryan Lorenz, physical therapist at Mobility Plus Rehabilitation, with offices in Enderlin, Lisbon, Gwinner, and Valley City. Our mission is to provide exceptional physical and occupational therapy by highly skilled therapists to minimize pain and maximize mobility, which quickly allows you to return to the quality of life you desire. We will evaluate and educate you on your condition, review treatment options, and create an effective treatment plan to solve your impairments based on your unique situation and needs. I invite you to call our offices at Mobility Plus today.
Vikings calling for timeout with 4:14 left to go in the fourth quarter, even at 63 with Bellevue. Bellevue led 31-12 back in the opening half, and the Vikings have found a way to get back to a tie ball game. Deemer right side, Hebrink fakes a three, baseline jump shot rolls off, and Van Blaricon has the basketball on the weak side for Bellevue. Ashlyn Deemer with 31 points today for Valley City State, half their scoring to keep them in this matchup. A crossover dribble towards the left side for Gabby Moore for Bellevue. Moore stepping down towards the baseline, pops for three, strong, it's an air ball. Rebound to Broughton on the weak side for the Vikings. Again, the Vikings looking for the lead. Hebrink a stop, back to Broughton. Head fake, three left side. Here's Ashlyn Deemert again, she's got it! Ashlyn Deemert has the record. Ashlyn Deemert hits her 8th three-point shot today. It gives her 34 points. She has the record for most threes in a game in Viking history, and the Vikings also have the lead. 66-63, Valley City State taking the lead for the first time this afternoon. Moore on the top of the key. They look underneath, does Bellevue. The ball out to Van Blaricon is lost, and a foul coming up against Elise Hebrink. Hebrink's second personal foul. It'll be the second team foul against the Vikings here in the fourth quarter. 3:11 to go, fourth quarter. The Vikings rallying from down 19 to take a three-point lead. The inbounds pass comes into Little. A curl towards the left side of the floor. Stop for Gabby Moore. Three on the way. That's well off. An offensive rebound for Little on the weak side. She pulls up and misses. This time the rebound underneath to Ellie Broughton, and she's fouled and will go to the line for Valley City State. The foul will go against Brandy Dunn. Dunn's third. And now the penalty comes into play with 3 minutes and a second to go. Ashlyn Deemer comes over to the near sideline. She may not know that she has the record at this point. I think she's being filled in right now by head coach Vanessa Johnson. First foul shot for Broughton is good. Ellie Broughton on the day with 9. 67-63, the Vikings take a two-possession lead. And Broughton's second foul shot trickles around and won't go down. And the rebound underneath is in the hands of Amina Hall for Bellevue. So the Bruins now down by a score of 67-63. Their three-point shooting is falling off, and they haven't been able to get the looks inside that they did back in the opening half as well. Van Blaricon to the near side for Gabby Moore. Moore going to her left hand, contested by Hebrink, goes to the glass and scores. Gabby Moore with 19. The Viking lead cut to 2, 67-65 on the LaRue-Laco Financial scoreboard with 2.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Diemert looking for a screen. Stepping right, cutting back left. Shuffle step down the lane, kicks underneath. Hebrink back out on top. Richter, near side now to Broughton. A step back for Haley Roberts, and Roberts will reset the offense with 10 seconds left to go. Roberts wants a screen. Richter comes out to set it. Screen is jumped. Roberts swinging right side for Hebrink. Baseline move, pulls up from 12, missed it short. Foul, late whistle, and we're going to see Elise Hebrink going to the foul line. Delaney Van Blaricon will be called for her third. Didn't like the call, but Hebrink's going to go to the line, hitting the act of shooting, but everything's 2 anyway. And with 2:08 to go, a couple of big makes needed here to push this back to a 2-possession game for the Vikings. Hebrink's first is no good. I'm not sure what the actual number is. I haven't been able to keep up. The fourth quarter has seen foul shooting get a little better. The Vikings are 5 of 7 in the fourth quarter from the foul line. Second foul shot for Hebrink, also no good, and a rebound's out of bounds that will be off of Richter's foot, and we'll go back to the Bruins of Bellevue. So now the Bruins a chance to tie or reclaim the lead here in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes, 5 seconds left to go. 67-65, the Vikings by 2. Ball to the top, Dinker in the high post, working right side, driving against Richter, a turn in the post, she's in some trouble, tries to work it back to the wing. Van Blaricon and back out to Moore in the top of the key. A drive left side by Dunn, bodied up hard in a foul against Haley Roberts. Roberts will be called for her fourth personal foul. Roberts knows she didn't have any choice in that situation. She had to get back down and put a body in on Dunn, or Dunn is going to waltz to the basket. They'll say this is on the shot, so this will put Brandy Dunn on the foul line for Bellevue. She hadn't scored since the opening quarter, and these will be her first foul shots today. A lefty in the first, cuts it to 1. 9 points for Brandy Dunn. The Vikings were down 31-12 and took a 4-point lead at 67-63. Now the Bruins trying to tie it. They do, as Brandy Dunn steps in and ties it with her 10th point, and the Bruins will call for timeout. 1:49 left to go in the fourth quarter on the LaRue-Laco Financial scoreboard. It's even. Vikings 67, Bruins 67. Timeout for Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. This is Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Sanford Health of Valley City is dedicated to transforming your healthcare experience and providing access to world-class healthcare right here in America's heartland. We're committed to improving the human condition at every stage of life through exceptional care, spiritual enhancement, innovation, and discovery. Schedule your appointment today at Sanford Health of Valley City by calling 701-845-6000 or self-schedule online at mysanfordchart.org. Sanford Health, here
this is Charlotte Instead, a former Valley City Highliner and Valley City State Viking, and now
I apologize for the false start, folks. We're going to have to talk to Aaron when we get back in the studios about the false ending. The false ending. I keep getting drawn into the false ending. It's actually on me. I've got to learn where the ending is. We're tied at 67 with 1:49 left to go in the fourth quarter. Welcome back to Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC. Ryan Cunningham with you today from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. The Vikings were down 31-12, trailed by 10, coming into the fourth quarter behind a big 34-point day for Ashlyn Diemert. The Vikings are tied with Bellevue at 67 apiece. Second conference game of the year. Lots on the line in this final minute and a half. Diemert driving her way to the basket. Scoop layup missed. Rebound Richter. Put back short. Another board. Counted one for J.C. Richter. And J.C. Richter is beginning to become that player that becomes Adriana for a day. Richter with a huge fourth quarter. That's 10 points in the quarter, 11 for the game, but 4 field goals, 2 offensive rebounds in that sequence. And now she'll try for the three-point play, but it's no good. Here's an offensive board for Elise Hebrink, and the Vikings with a 2-point lead now have the basketball, and they can make it a 2-possession game on a 3 by Diemert. It's short, ends up out of bounds off of J.C. Richter, and this will go back to Bellevue. So Richter with a big 3-point opportunity down the stretch. She doesn't finish yet, but 2 big offensive rebounds and a putback for Richter. It's a 2-point game for the Vikings at 69-67. 1 minute, 15 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Gabby Moore on your side, she's got 19 today, had 15 at halftime, only 4 here in the second half. Dinker on the top of the key, a look inside, off to Brandy Dunn on the right sideline, back to Gabby Moore on top. Shot clock approaching 10, Moore to the right elbow, to Dunn on the top of the key. A look back to Moore, a 3 for the lead is off the heel of the rim. Rebound knocked out of bounds by Ashlyn Deemert. Deemert came up as if she had tweaked an ankle on that. Looks like she's okay, just jogging it off. I think she's frustrated as she didn't come up with a rebound. And now we'll see an inbounds pass coming in for Bellevue after just a moment of pause. Dunn will inbound. Actually, it was Moore. She got it to Van Blaricon for the Bruins. Off to the right side. Dunn hard take to the basket. Off the glass ties the game. Brandy Dunn now with 12. And a timeout taken by the Vikings with 42.2 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Timeout for Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. On the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard, we're even at 69 with 42 seconds left. We're going to keep it here so we don't miss our finish, as the Vikings will have an opportunity to try to grab the lead before the end of regulation. Now, there will still be 12 seconds left to go, and so right now, Vanessa Johnson, the head coach of the Vikings, has to talk over a great many things. First of all, the penalty is going the Vikings' way, not the Bruins' way. So if the Vikings score, they have a foul to give before the Bruins would shoot foul shots. Only 3 fouls for the Vikings here. And that factors into how you go about doing things defensively if you can score in this situation with those final 12 seconds. We'll see what the Vikings do. They could play the old 2-for-1 game if they wanted to, but they'd have to get something away rather quickly here. Roberts will send it back to Ashlyn Deemert, who threw the inbounds pass in. Richter came over to set a screen. Deemert dribbling away, and it looks like the Vikings may try to play for one. Haley Roberts on the left wing, working hard down the lane, fouled, and she's going to the line. The Vikings want continuation as Roberts hit the shot, but the foul's going to be on the floor. It'll go against Delaney Van Blaricon. That'll be her 4th. So Roberts goes to the line, and 2 would put the Vikings up 2, but only 30 seconds, 29.1 to go. And Bellevue could get the ball for the last possession. The Vikings need 2 makes here. Roberts first, good. Haley Roberts now with 7. The lead is 1 for the Vikings at 70-69. Men's game to follow. Great start to the day here today on KOVC. Second foul shot for Roberts. Rolls off the front. And so the window's open and a timeout is taken by Bellevue as Haley Roberts will score her 7th to break the tie. But it leaves it at just a 1-point margin for Valley City State with 27.9 seconds to go. We'll take a break for our timeout, brought to you by Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. Your score in the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard, the Vikings 70, the Bruins 69. Back with more in a moment on KOVC.
This is Charlotte Inkstead, a former Valley City Highliner and Valley City State Viking, and now a member of the Viking Booster Board. I've experienced firsthand the support our Valley City community has for VCSU. Donations to scholarships and support for the Vikings can truly make a difference in the lives of student athletes. However you'd like to be involved, we'd love to have you on our team. It can be as simple as making a donation to Century Club scholarships, showing up and cheering on the Vikings, or joining me and other volunteers on the booster board. For more information, contact Viking Athletics at 701-845-7160.
Timeout taken by Bellevue. The Bruins have the basketball with 27.9 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Valley City State leading by 1 at 70-69. Bellevue led 31-12 to start the game. It's been a record-breaking day. Ashlyn Deemert has hit 8 3-point shots for the Vikings. She now owns the record for most 3-point shots by a single player in a single game and has 34 points for Valley City State today, and that's fueled the comeback. And the Bruins trail by 1 in the second conference game of the year for Valley City State. Bruins with the ball, 20 seconds to go. Delaney Van Blaricon on the right side of the floor, hands one off for Gabby Moore. Moore standing well away from the three-point line, driving towards the right side with 10 seconds. Stop and go dribble, got inside, misses. There's a rebound fight. It's loose on the floor. It's on the baseline. They're going to say out of bounds off of Haley Roberts, and the ball will stay with Bellevue with 6.9 seconds left to go. The Bruins will inbound in the front court with 6.9 seconds left, down 1. So they went with Gabby Moore going to the basket, and I think in this sequence, the smart money would be to do the same thing. The Vikings, however, have one foul to give before the penalty. So if the ball gets out to the perimeter, you could commit a foul out there, stop the play, and make them re-inbound the basketball without harm. And we'll see if Vanessa Johnson decides to use that foul before Bellevue would shoot foul shots. 6.9 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. The possession arrow favors Valley City State. Each team a timeout left. Inbounds pass to come in for Moore. Amina Hall takes it. Moore in the corner for three. It's off the heel of the rim. Rebound, J.C. Richter. She's fouled as time runs out. They'll reset the clock here, obviously. That whistle should have come with about 0.8 seconds. 0.8 seconds is what it should be. 0.8 seconds. They're going to say 1.5. That's generous. That was 0.8. That was 1.5. Nonetheless, J.C. Richter is going to go to the foul line and try to put this one away for Valley City State. So the miss, the rebound for Richter, and J.C. Richter has a chance to be every bit the hero Ashlyn Diemert is today with a 10-point fourth quarter, and now a chance to put the finishing touches on the day. Her first, no good. The Vikings have got to get in the room and shoot foul shots after this one is over. 11 points for J.C. Richter. Richter is 3 of 6 from the foul line today. Lead remains 1. Second foul shot for Richter, no good. And a timeout taken with 0.8 of a second. So it will end up being 0.8 of a second for Bellevue, and they'll have a chance to inbound from half court. So Richter doesn't make either foul shot. Haley Roberts is going to step in, and here is where the Vikings, are they going to reset the clock again? Okay. Boy, they're going to say 1.1 seconds left. I thought that they did a really nice job stopping the clock when the timeout was indicated. I mean, this is not the gold medal game, if you know what I mean. All right, so I thought 1.5 was extremely generous on the rebound for Richter. Again, the Vikings did not call timeout on the rebound by Richter. She had to be fouled, and I don't know if the foul happened right when the rebound came down. So I'm a little surprised, not so much maybe at this one, but the last one definitely was surprising that they put it way out to 1.5, and that's one of the reasons why this game isn't 0.3 seconds left at this point. Bellevue in the front court with 1.1 second. The Vikings still have one foul to use. They could use it here if they so choose. Delaney Van Blaricon will inbound on the far sideline. Valley City State by 1 with 1.1 second left to go. Van Blaricon will trigger it in. Far sideline, looks down to the baseline, and the foul shot, the shot on the way, 2/3 of the way down on the baseline, coming in for Kaylee Denker, and she ends up missing, and the Vikings will escape with a victory. The Vikings come roaring back from down 19 points in the second quarter. They hold the Bruins to just 10 in the fourth quarter today, and a 34-point record-breaking effort for Ashlyn Diemert will not go unnoticed in the win column. Valley City State 70 and Bellevue 69. Your final score today from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse here at Valley City State in women's play. A brief post-game report is on the way in our wrap-up. We'll announce the start time for our men's matchup as well. This is Viking basketball on the voice of the Vikings and the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Rambo, a proud sponsor and fan of Viking Athletics, has been serving North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota with quality logoed apparel and promotional products since 1979. With online store options built to meet the needs of your company, organization, or team, Rambo will ensure that the process of ordering is easy and accurate and that your items are received on time. When you're ready to put your logo to work, give Matt a call at 701-680-9585. Rambo, we're in the business of making you look good.
CHI Mercy Health in Valley City strives to bring you quality health care close to home. They're bringing in mammography services, extended their occupational therapy program, and updated physical therapy and emergency room spaces. They're currently seeking to fill a number of positions. To find out more, head to chimercyhealth.org under the Careers tab. CHI Mercy Health Valley City, voted top 100 critical access hospital and one of the first in the nation designated as an acute cardiac ready hospital, providing quality health care close to home.
W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. Valley City State with an improbable victory today in women's basketball, down 31-12 in the second quarter. The Vikings roar back with a 21-10 fourth quarter and win the game by one today by a final score of 70-69. Valley City State improves their record to 7-9 in the overall campaign, 1-1 in the league, and they'll turn Bellevue away, who is now 1-2 in conference play and a record of 8-10 overall. Welcome to our post-game report today. A record-breaking day for Valley City State's Ashlyn Deemer, young lady out of West Fargo, North Dakota. She ends up 8 of 14 from the three-point line today and 12 of 27 from the field. 34 points today for Ashlyn Deemer and 8 threes. She now owns the school record for most three-point shots in a game by a single player. It had been done 4 times with 7 threes, the last time back in 2015, but that means that that record is pretty old at 7, just equaled a handful of times. Today, Ashlyn Deemer goes into the record books for the Vikings all by herself. But the Vikings needed someone to step up with Adriana Torres away from the team today due to a funeral in the family. And enter J.C. Richter, who came up with 10 of her 11 in the fourth quarter today, including a huge putback bucket after 2 offensive rebounds that she has. Richter comes in today 11 points and 6 rebounds for Valley City State. She co-leads the team in that category. 9 points and 6 rebounds for Ellie Broughton. 2 points and 6 rebounds for Elise Hebrink today. Also, the rebounding game turned out to be okay for Valley City State this afternoon. Haley Roberts finishes with 7 here today. Ellie Powell with 3. Elise Hebrink, as we mentioned, had 2 for the Vikings, and Rosie Anderson with 4. For Bellevue today, 3 in double figures, led by Gabby Moore's 19. 12 points and 10 rebounds today for Amina Hall. 12 points at a board for Brandy Dunn this afternoon. We'll see 9 for Delaney Van Blaricon, 9 for Kaylee Dinker, who took the last shot and just missed it. Shelby Little with 6 points this afternoon, and 2 for Zakia Muhammad. And that will run things out today. And again, your final score, the Vikings 70 and the Bruins 69. Our final piece of business is our Player of the Game Award, which is brought to you by Ivy Real Estate Group. Ivy Real Estate Group is your only locally owned real estate brokerage in Valley City, and they're saluting the home team after every broadcast of Highlander and Viking Athletics on KOVC. And Player of the Game, it's got to be Ashlyn Deemer. Ashlyn Deemer with 34 points and 8 three-point shots today. You can't undo that. Ashlyn had 20 points last night. Might have deserved Player of the Game award honors last night. Elise Hebrink had such a nice night rebounding over much larger competition. I like that aspect of her game. But today, Ashlyn says, okay, I'm taking the award myself. No denying what she accomplished today. Ashlyn Deemer in the record books with 34 points, and Ashlyn is your Player of the Game award winner. Brought to you today by Ivy Real Estate Group, your only locally owned real estate brokerage in Valley City. And with that, we'll call it quits for the moment as we get ready for the second half of our doubleheader, which will feature the Viking men today. Valley City State will go into battle today against Bellevue, also looking for the Vikings' first men's conference victory of the season. And we'll have that for you coming up in just a bit. Our start time on that is going to be at 4:50 this afternoon. Join us at 10 to 5. 4:50 this afternoon for the latest on that. And when we do get started, we'll update you on the latest that we have out there. Our travel conditions have not changed. Our weather conditions have not changed. And as of yet, we haven't seen any new. I'll take one of those. Thank you. We haven't seen any new of those weather-related announcements come in at this point either. So we should be in fairly good shape there also. But again, Trinity Lutheran, no breakfast tomorrow. Otherwise, no weather announcements around us. Most of it's in Jamestown and Carrington. And the road conditions that we've been monitoring, not much has changed. There's still that no travel advisory. Cass County and north, it's a travel alert for Barnes County at this point. Again, join us at 4:50 for men's basketball on the second half of our doubleheader. Your final score here today, what a game. The Viking women 70. They beat the Bruins 70-69. The Viking women coming back from down 19 to take home a conference victory. For KOVC Sports and for Viking basketball, I'm Ryan Cunningham. So long for just a bit.
For over 80 years, you've counted on KOVC for local news, weather, and sports. The voice of the Valley, KOVC.